And a quick hello here to everybody watching on OSBA TV. We're officially live here. Just 18 seconds left in this first quarter. TRC Academy taking on the Lincoln Prep Huskies. As of right now, we got Nava with the ball in the corner. Three-pointer is good by Adam Francolini. And that gives, with 5 seconds remaining, a 19-13 lead here for TRC Academy. Here comes Kangu, but he can send it back at the buzzer to give Lincoln Prep a two-possession deficit going into the second quarter. It is senior night here at TRC Academy, as TRC Academy is bidding farewell to two of their seniors, Dakota Lewis and Elil Nosemi. Of course, Elil making a lot of headlines at the beginning of this OSBA season by committing to the Cincinnati Bearcats. And we've got ourselves a tough matchup here today, though. Both teams having their own personal goals going into this matchup. TRC Academy sitting at 11-2, trying to keep pace with the other top three teams in the OSBA. That is, of course, the AI Prep, Orangeville Prep, and Bill Crothers. While Lincoln Prep is trying to catch Ridley College for that elusive fifth spot, sitting at 7-9, just 2 games behind Ridley College. If they put together a win today, they're just 1 game behind them, and they still have a game in hand. That first quarter, just a quick recap, a Herculean effort almost, if you will, from all of the Lincoln Prep players in the rebounding category. They know they're in tough today against TRC Academy, who's arguably has, if not the second biggest, the third biggest lineup of any team in the OSBA. You expect them to dominate the boards, but really in the beginning, Lincoln Prep was out hustling them. A lot more active hands, creating turnovers, giving themselves an opportunity to stay in this game, as they are the underdogs in this one. TRC Academy here playing in front of almost a sold-out house here in Brantford at the Rise Center to cheer on their seniors in their final game here in Brantford. As Elil Nosemi loses the ball there, and now it's Kevin Kangu on the perimeter. He gets it over to Sam Jenkins, who's had a heck of a second half of this season. Jenkins still looking for something. Is he going to do it himself? Yes, he will. Three-pointer, no good. And we've been seeing a lot of long shots here from the Lincoln Prep Huskies in the beginning of this game. And you don't know if that's a cause of the fact that TRC Academy, they do such an amazing job of closing out whoever has the ball. They know that they're going to be expecting Lincoln Prep to be shooting a lot of threes in this game, and they've stayed true to that so far. They know where their bread is buttered. TRC Academy is going to be looking to try and command that paint right now. Here's a corner. This is Lewis himself. Loses it in the corner, though. And that is picked up by number 4, Zach Thurs. Here's the inbound. Gets it over. Shot goes up. And that was Lewis there going to the basket. And of course, if you don't know, my name's Ryan Greco, and I'm going to be taking care of your commentary today. I'm flying solo, so I'll be trying to do a little bit of play-by-play, a little bit of color, a little bit of everything. As Sam Jenkins now has the ball. He gets it over. Jenkins getting it back. Tries to throw it in the inside, but just a whole bunch of white shirts there. Here's Francolini. Francolini over to Nava. Gets it inside to Nosemi. Nosemi almost looked like he got away with a couple steps there, trying to go up to the basket. Still trying. Finally gets the foul call. And you can see Nosemi's quite pleased with that one. Elil Nosemi, of course, it's senior day for him today. The Cincinnati Bearcats committed at the beginning of the season, has given himself, or even more, you could say, his program, a lot of anticipation when he makes his arrival. Nosemi, a player that wasn't even playing, according to his assistant coaches, wasn't even playing basketball with any legitimate basketball shoes until he arrived here in Canada, and now look at him. Here's a look inside. Daters, no good. And no call either. That's a rebound by Nosemi. He gets it over to Franklini, who brings it up once again, gets it in the corner. And they're going to let one fly. No good. That was Dakota Lewis on the attempted three. Nothing happening, though. The inbound is going to be to Agnan Begovic. Rocking the pink bandana once again. That's something we've seen him wearing for pretty much every single game in the second half of this season. Makes him pretty easy to spot out there. As Josh Noten now getting back into the game. The Mississauga product. Try to work the pick and roll with Daters. Gets it out to Begovic. He's going to let another one fly, and he'll take it. He'll take it off the backboard. Debatable on whether he meant to do that, but it keeps Lincoln Prep within 3. Here's Vernon now back on the floor. Vernon off to Edgem, who's also back in the game. Vernon trying to go on the inside. Nope, kicks it back out. Nosemi, he's going to let a mid-range jumper fly. No good. Edgem trying to go for the ball. He does get it. Begovic didn't exactly do a very good job of boxing out Edgem there, and that's something you must do against a guy his size. He's got incredible athleticism. Worst kept secret in the league. He is the younger brother of Melvin Edgem. He's got a lot of basketball blood in his family. So he's used to fighting bigger brother for those loose balls. Begovic is going to have to do a little bit of a better job boxing him out on those ones. Here comes the inbound. The inbound from Steve Levniak, who actually kicked off this game with a three-pointer for TRC Academy. Here's John, mid-range jumper. Knocks it down. That is Brandon John, the 6'9" forward, class of 2018. Excellent mid-range jumper there. That's a good way to get him started in this game. Now here's Kangu. See if he can come back with a reply. Gets it over in the corner to Begovic. And Begovic, he's got the green light today. He's just letting it fly. And there's another attempt to go up. Nothing happening for Levniak, though. But there is going to be a foul once again. And guess who? Alil Nosemi, the senior, on his senior night, going to go to the free throw line once again. Something we just briefly talked about in the broadcast. Nosemi, originally from the Congo. Came to Canada not too long ago at all. But he's been you can argue to say he has been the MVP for this TRC Academy team this year. Big reason why they're sitting at 11-2. Big reason why they were able to pull out a win over AI Prep not too long ago. Here's Kangu. Unfortunately, no good there from the free throw lines. And Jenkins, once again, letting it fly. Lincoln Prep, they know what they are. And they're going to keep shooting that three. Expect them. Nice cut to the basket there by Ishan Khan, who's going to get the foul and one. And that is how you introduce yourself into the game. Ishan Khan, an excellent finish at the rim. A smart cut, an even more athletic and impressive finish there, especially when you have the big bodies of TRC Academy draped all over you when you're going to the basket. But that's the importance of sometimes you just have to outthink your opponents. No good on the free throws, though. And that's something Lincoln Prep has been struggling with so far in this game, has been the free throws. And when you're facing a team like TRC Academy, who's not going to give you many opportunities for second chances on the defensive rebounding end, you've got to make those free throws. As there's a missed shot. Kangu once again with the rebound. It'll be interesting to see how many he finishes with today. In the corner, Khan trying to go to the corner, no good. And now he's getting draped up here. That is Zach Daters. And it's a turnover. And Tom Vernon bringing it in, but there's going to be a stop and play here. Sam Jenkins still had to tie his shoelaces. Don't want to give the kids an unfair advantage. Vernon now bringing the ball up. We've got number 7, Brandon John on the floor. Got number 15, Steve Levniak on the floor for TRC Academy. Here's Nosemi one more time. No good. Levniak nearly jams it back down, but here's Edgem with the rebound to Vernon. Open three. No good. Long. Jenkins with the rebound. Gets it back over to Kangu, and they're off to the races. Kangu's going to slow it down. He wants to set up a play. Let's see what they make with it. Works off the screen. Kangu right to the basket, up and in, over Nosemi and Edgem. What a finish there by Kevin Kangu. That is some impressive athleticism, but that's one thing we're talking about at the beginning of the game. If this is one thing that Lincoln Prep has an advantage over TRC, it's that backcourt. Just so much longer and athletic, drop-dead shooters. They can get to the basket if you're not careful. And there's a nice finish there. Give that one to Steven Levniak, drops his defender and goes to the basket. We've got ourselves a back-and-forth battle here in Brantford, ladies and gentlemen. 25-22, 5:04 remaining in this second quarter. Here's Kangu. Kangu, mid-range jumper, no good. Once again, a little bit long. Here's Vernon. Vernon bringing it up, looking for an option. Kicks it out to the corner. Levniak, one more time, count it. Steve Levniak increases the lead to 6 for TRC Academy, and Lincoln Prep calls a timeout. And with that, we are going to take a brief timeout as well, so I can catch my breath. We'll be back in just a second. And I'd like to welcome everybody back here, OSBATV. My name's Ryan Greco, taking care of your commentary at this moment. Lincoln Prep trying to gain some ground here in the OSBA standings in the final stretch of the season. Up 28-22, down 28-22 to TRC Academy. Sam Jenkins knocks a corner three. And once again, it's a one-possession game here. Lincoln Prep keeping pace with the 11-2 TRC Wolfpack. Levniak, can he respond? Yes, he does. Give him 2 in a row now. I think he's feeling himself a little bit. Here's Ishan Khan bringing the ball up. Gets it back to Noten. Noten calling for a play. See if he can work off a screen. Finds the inside. That's Lincoln Rosebush. Kicks it back out. Sam Jenkins no good on the 3. Rebound Nasemi. Gets it over to Vernon. Vernon dribbling with his head up. Looking for an option. Gets it over to Edgem. Edgem, he's going to let it fly. He's got an open look. Air ball, but Brandon John with the rebound and a nice finish under the basket. TRC Academy playing to their strengths there, finishing in the paint. Brandon John, he is a big boy, standing at 6'9". Here's Josh Noten. Noten guarded by Vernon. Noten looking for Rosebush off the screen. No, in the corner to Khan. Khan not even close on that one, unfortunately. And then Edgem, though. Lincoln Prep catching a bit of a break there on that one, as Edgem tried to throw it over to Vernon, and it ended up sailing right over his head. And it's those little mistakes. They don't seem like much now, but if you find yourself in a 5 to 3 point game in the last minutes of the fourth quarter, those costs early in the game can be fatal. A big block there by Edgem. Jenkins mad at himself. He knew he made it a little bit too obvious there. Vernon trying to get inside to Nosemi. Tafari Sims is trying to figure out what he did there. He thinks he was going straight for the ball, but in turn, he did knock over Nosemi, and that's going to be a foul. He's going to get a foul with the push. And Nosemi, once again, going back to the line here. He's just taking a look at the replay here. Yeah, it just kind of looked like a 50-50 ball that Nosemi got the worst of, and you're going to see those calls from time to time from the referees when things get a little bit too chippy. Here's Nosemi. Makes good on the first free throw. Nosemi, no good on the second one, but Edgem with the rebound. Gets it out to Vernon. Vernon attacks the basket. Perfect little teardrop over the defender. And call it, I guarantee you it's not the way that Coach Tyrell Vernon drew up, but it's a three-point play. And TRC Academy now has their biggest lead of the game. Turnover there. Nice poke away by Steve Levniak. Here's Vernon. Vernon, fast break, layup. Rims out. Nosemi tries to get it. Kangu ends up with it for Lincoln Prep. Gets it over to Jenkins. Jenkins looking for an option. Gets it to Noten. Noten now. Over to Kangu. Kangu. He's got daylight. Beautiful kiss off the glass there with the right hand. Lincoln Prep down by 9. Here's Anton Vernon. Antoine. Back in the corner, Levniak. No good. That's one thing TRC, they can shoot the three when they need to. Guys like Steve Levniak out there, they're always a threat from deep. Kangu loses it. Dion Edgem picking it up. Little poke away by Edgem and Brandon John. Here's Vernon. One more time, gets caught in the corner though. Tips off a Lincoln Prep player, and it's gonna be TRC Academy ball. 2 minutes remaining in this half, 36-27 for TRC Academy. Combination of second chance finishes under the rim and some timely shooting from Steve Levniak have given them this 9-point lead. We'll see if Lincoln Prep can make a dent though before this halftime begins. Nice find inside there to Brandon John. That's Matt Grace. And Matt Grace, every time he's touched the ball, he's made a smart decision so far in this game. Here's Josh Noten. Noten. Jenkins. Jenkins back out to Kangu. Kangu thinks about it. Step back jumper. No good, but he does get the foul. And he'll take it. Going to the line for 2 to once again cut this lead down to 9 possibly. Kevin Kangu. Him and Josh Noten have been bouncing back and forth between responsibilities of point guard and shooting guard throughout this season. It's been a very big learning process for both of them in that sense, trying to figure out what system kind of works best for them. But it's a challenge they've relished. It hasn't been without its errors, though. Lincoln Prep sitting 7-9 here in the OSBAs, but an extremely talented team nonetheless. We've seen them put together some dandies, not to mention actually one of our first games of the week in the OSBAs this year was a game that went down to overtime and was decided in the last play between TRC Academy and Lincoln Prep. Well, we have another one in the makings today. Vernon to Edgem for 3. Long, a lot of long shots today. And a good effort there by Begovic. But he couldn't get a handle on it when he was trying to make that spin move past Francolini and Grace. Thus, it's out of bounds, and TRC is going to get another shot at extending their lead before halftime. Vernon, Francolini, Vernon, guarded by Cullen Welsford. There's John on the inside. Just rims out. That shot is his bread and butter. He's got to be frustrated with that one. Welsford lets it fly for 3. Knocks it down in transition. And Cullen Welsford, if you've never heard that name before, get ready to hear me shout his name a couple of times in this broadcast. He's made some huge deep threes for Lincoln Prep this season. Vernon tried to get it to Edgem, but it looked like Kangu was able to get a hand on that. And once again, that athleticism in the backcourt and size and length of Lincoln Prep is creating a little bit of havoc here for Vernon. He's not getting the passing lanes he's used to seeing. As here's Francolini, tries to lay one up, and there's Kangu once again with another board, but he's immediately mauled by 2 TRC defenders, and because of that, there's a loose ball there. Francolini was able to kind of knock it loose. Kangu tried to touch it, but it ended up going out of bounds. It was last touched. And actually, excuse me, it is going to be Lincoln Prep ball. It looked like Francolini was most likely the person, the last one to touch it here. Excellent back and forth battle to start off this game. 30 seconds in the half. Noten looking off the double screen. Works off Begovic, kicks it over to Kangu for 3. Kangu, no good, but Begovic A great box out job there on Brandon John. And Kangoo finds his way to the basket and just rims out. But there is Lincoln Rosebush right there, right time, right place. And that's why you don't give up on the play, kids. Rosebush just happened to be right under the rim to try and put it back up. And the TRC Bigs had no choice there but to commit the foul to prevent the easy bucket with 12.9 seconds to go. They're going to make him earn it at the line. Lincoln Rosebush. One of the more interesting names in the OSBA. Standing 6'9", class of 2018 out of Guelph, Ontario. Just down the road. Or up the road, if you want to be specific. Rosebush makes good on the second one. He gets one of two. 38-32 now, 12 seconds remaining. Grace to Edgem. Edgem nearly stripped. Vernon, 6 seconds remaining. Is he going to do it himself? No, gets it to Grace to Edgem. Great ball movement, but even better defense. Noten, 0 seconds remaining. Just missed his air ball, but some excellent backcourt defense there by Lincoln Prep keeps this game to within 6. And that is going to be really the number one battle to talk about here. It's going to be TRC's front court versus Lincoln Prep's backcourt in this second half. We'll see if Lincoln Prep, though, is going to have the energy to match TRC Academy's size in the paint. If they can limit TRC Academy's second chance opportunities under the basket, they're going to give themselves a great chance to win the game today. They're taking enough shots, though. Lincoln Prep is taking enough shots from the outside that at some point some of these shots are going to have to start falling, especially if they're getting as many open looks as TRC Academy is allowing them to, because that is something we've seen consistently throughout that first half, is a lot of defenders are just daring the Lincoln Prep shooters to shoot it, and because of that, Lincoln's getting their shots up. They're just not falling, and even despite that, they still find themselves only down by 6. So we're going to take a brief timeout here. That is the sum up of the first half. Once again, my name's Ryan Greco. I hope you guys enjoyed the fun and games they're going to be taking part on the court in this halftime show. Until then, we will be back in a little bit, and we'll talk to you soon. Right now, at halftime, it is TRC Academy 38, Lincoln Prep Huskies 32, here on TRC Academy's Wolfpack's Senior Night. We'll be right back. I'd like to welcome everybody back here to OSBA TV. Of course, my name is Ryan Greco. I'm going to be taking care of your both color and play-by-play commentary. Unfortunately, the great and magnificent Kelsey Wright Johnson is unable to join us today. So it's just me you got to deal with. But my goodness, what a game do we have on hand today. It is TRC Academy's senior night as they bid adieu to two of their top players in the program, Dakota Lewis and Lil Nosemi, as they move on to the next step in their basketball careers. But Lincoln Prep trying to spoil the party right now as they find themselves down 38-32 to the home team TRC Wolfpack. Some very impressive clashing of styles, if you will, happening in this game. Lincoln Prep really relying heavily on their backcourt defense as a way to kind of contain the shooting and scoring capabilities of both Antoine Vernon, of Stephen Levniak, of Dion Edgem. Also, of course, Brandon John and Lil Nosemi both on the floor as well for TRC Academies. We kick off this third quarter. And that's going to be one thing they're really going to be looking to try and do, establish that inside paint. A nice cut there by Edgem. But once again, the quickness of the Lincoln Prep guards. I mean, we're talking about a couple of guys here between Noten and Kangu. Incredibly quick laterally, very long arms. They can get to almost every single basketball. But that's something you can't allow TRC Academy to do. They found the inside paint, and once they find that inside corner, you can see the result as two Lincoln Prep players wind up on the floor as TRC Academy was able to just easily put it in there for a quick two, 40-32. Here's Jenkins in the corner. No good for Begovic. Here's Vernon bringing it up after a rebound by Edgem. Vernon looking around. Out to Edgem at the top. In the corner, Levniak. Edgem, Vernon. Vernon to John, mid-range jumper. No good. But once again, Nosemi using that athleticism and that length. He is the biggest and longest guy on the floor at this moment. You cannot allow him to get space like that to get some rebounds. Lincoln Prep is going to have to do a better job of staying physical with Nosemi the same way that they had in the first half. Noten can't go with a weak pass like that past Dion Edgem as he now brings it up. Edgem, Vernon now into Nosemi, back out to Vernon, working the inside-out game. Vernon, tough shot, and knocks it down. Impressive finish there. Not much you can do about that one. Nice little fadeaway there by Antoine Vernon. Here's Kangu. He's guarded by Nosemi and Edgem. Kicks it back out. This is Lincoln Rosebush. Turn around, no good. Tough shot, but once again, there it is. That backcourt up to the basket. Josh Noten with the quick hands, knocking it loose from Dion Edgem under the basket there, giving Lincoln Prep another opportunity to make a bucket. And Noten gets fouled. Or excuse me, it's going to be Kangu that's going to get. Oops, I'm sorry. Noten is going to be taking the shots. Josh Noten came to Lincoln Prep from St. Marcellinus last season. Marcellinus actually, his old high school, finishing in the semifinals of OSBA this year. Or sorry, the quarterfinals after falling to St. Mike's. But here's Noten now in the OSBA trying to get something going for his new club. Great defense there. Takes a hard fall. Sam Jenkins now with the ball. Jenkins to Kangu. Kangu working off the screen. Gets it back out. Rosebush going to let it fly from the mid-range. Great shot there by Rosebush. Good confidence to show that he can knock it over one of the better big men in the league, and Lil Nosemi. And you want to see your role players take that kind of control of themselves and be able to knock down those tough shots when they need them most, especially when there's a double-digit lead. Here's Vernon now, showing off the handles a little bit. Gets by the defender using the screen. No good, though. Here's Kangu now, off to the races, 3-on-1. Over to Jenkins. Nice find inside to Noten. A better three-man weave. I want you to show me one there. Excellent finish by Lincoln Prep and great teamwork. But there's going to be a foul on Dion Edgem. It looked like he gave the forearm a little bit to Josh Noten as Noten was trying to D-up on him. 8-point lead here for TRC Academy. 7:11 to go here in the third quarter. Kangu to Noten. Noten looking for an option. He's going to try and take on his defender himself. Throws it up and knocks it down. Don't be too surprised when he can make that shot, though. Had plenty of time to center himself, get his shoulder square to the basket. Great finish. Here's Levniak to Edgem. Edgem back at the Levniak. Makangu, once again, the turnovers keep piling up for TRC Academy. Sam Jenkins gonna let it fly. No good. And Nasemi, big rebound there. Vernon brings it up. Felt the pressure from Begovic a little bit there. Here's Edgem. Back out to Vernon. And this zone defense, a 3-2 zone here, or 2-3 zone, excuse me. Edgem's gonna let it fly. They're daring TRC to shoot, and they did just that. Defense works out. Sam Jenkins still taking care of the basketball. Kevin Kangu now in the corner. Gets it back out to Noten. Noten catching in rhythm. Shoot, no good. Tough shot to miss. Here's Rosebush. Begovic back out to Noten. They're gonna reset. 6 seconds on the shot clock. I don't think he realizes how much time he has left. 2-1 goes up and in. What a finish right at the shot clock buzzer. Josh Noten with the left hand. And don't look now, but Lincoln Prep has made this a 4-point game with some outstanding defense and some great timely finishes at the basket. Pressure's on TRC now. Can they get a response? Inside to Nasemi. Nosemi up and in, and that's just a bad matchup for Lincoln Prep every time if Kevin Kangu has to guard Alil Nosemi. Kangu is a great defender, but he's not that great of a defender to take on a 6'10 forward in the paint at the lower block. Another steal. Vernon off to the races. He's going to go for it. But a great steal there, but out of bounds. Adnan Begovic. Excellent timing, stripping the ball of Antoine Vernon. And I'm pretty sure Antoine was looking for a foul there, but he's shaking his head. He knows he needs to take better care of the basketball there in those fast breaks. Into the game is Ishan Khan. Also coming into the game for TRC is we got Steve Levniak, Matt Grace, and Dakota Lewis. Here's Vernon. Vernon. Crossover no good. Khan, great job containing the point guard there. Lewis. Levniak. Vernon for three. Long. Rosebush, big rebound there for Lincoln Prep. Can they make it a one-possession game? Khan, right to the basket. Kicks it back out. There's Begovic. Air ball. And another turnover here. Vernon inside. Lewis takes a step. No good. Rosebush, another quote-unquote rebound there. Begovic out to Jenkins. Jenkins, nice find on the inside there to Ishan Khan, but he can't finish. He can't finish. Ishan Khan. He had time, and it just rimmed out. Sam Jenkins doing everything he could to set up his teammate there, and Ishan just couldn't finish it, but teammates say, no worries, we'll get the next one. They still have possession of the ball. Here we go. Jafari Sims on the floor now. He gets it over to Noten. Jenkins for three, lets it fly. An absolute textbook form from the corner makes this a 4-point game. Referee says there was a foot in the line for that one. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell up here when you have three black lines as a three-point line, but the farthest one out is the OSBA line, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that in mind if you're watching at home. Antoine Vernon out to Grace. He's going to let it fly. Knocks down the big three. Grace taking a quick look at the referee thinking, hey, I got hit after that. Where's my foul? Ref says keep playing. Here's Josh Noten now, guarded by Levniak. Noten, crossover, creates separation. But Levniak with a great defense, slipped a little bit, but managed to stay with him. And here's the pass over to Lewis. Lewis, Euro step, no good. Rims out, and Noten holding on to it though. Here's Noten, looking for an option once again. Lincoln Prep opting to slow down just a little bit here. 7-point lead for TRC Academy, 3:20 to go here in the third. Begovic to Sims. Sims, he's going to get called for the hack. A great find there. Stafari Sims flashing to the paint with the much, much smaller Antoine Vernon guarding him there. And that's one of those things as a coach. You want to see him attack the rim every single time. Antoine Vernon feeling like he didn't touch him at all. He thought he had all ball on that one. But it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell when the person you're guarding has about 3 or 4 inches of height on you. Here's Jenkins in the corner. No good, air ball. Matt Grace gets it over to Vernon. Vernon trying to find a Don McCoy, who has just re-entered this game for Nosemi. And Adong McCoy has been a fantastic backup to Nosemi throughout this entire season. You want to talk about a motor. Nice find on the inside. Francolini is back into the game. Lewis knocks down the jumper. 51-42. Jenkins gets called for out of bounds as he caught that on the fast break. Also into the game now for TRC Academy is Ivan Nava. And there's going to be a Lincoln Prep timeout here with 2:56 to go in the third quarter. A couple of notes to take away from this one. I mean, Lincoln Prep doing a fantastic job cutting down the lead to about 4 points. Excellent perimeter defense, timely shooting. But TRC Academy managing time and again to increase the lead. Lil Nosemi playing no small part in that, finishing at the rim consistently. And it's going to be those mismatches for both of these teams that's going to be the difference here. How many times can each team convert on those mismatches? As both teams have forwards that are very comfortable with playing out on the perimeter if they need to. But if I was to give the advantage to anyone when it came to the backcourt, it's going to have to be Lincoln Prep with that combination of Noten, Jenkins, and Kangu, who have all shown, all three of them have shown just how bad of a pest they can all be on defense. As Antoine Vernon hasn't exactly had the free space he's used to working with when he's running point here in the OSBA. Dion Edgem also having a relatively quiet night, and I think you can kind of chalk that one up to a combination of great denial of the ball by the backcourt of Lincoln Prep. And Edgem just kind of missing shots right now, but as far as the inside game goes, it's working relatively well here. Matt Grace has been a great X factor here for TRC Academy so far in this game, knocking down some big shots when they've needed him to. Of course, that most recent one, that three-pointer at the top of the key. Here's Francolini. Nava working on the inside, trying to find McCoy, does find him. McCoy, he's going to get fouled, and that's what they're going to try and have to avoid, Lincoln Prep. You cannot allow the guards to cut through the middle like that, and Nava did it almost uncontested there, almost untouched, finding McCoy. And by the time McCoy got the ball in the blocks there, if you give any of those TRC Academy forwards or centers an opportunity to work within the half circle there, that's almost a guaranteed point or foul every single time. It's going to either be a point or a trip to the line. McCoy, no good on the second one. He misses one free throw, 52-42. The lead is back up to 10 for TRC Academy. Can Lincoln Prep claw back again? Here's Sam Jenkins for three. Long. Safari Sims can't come down with the rebound. Adong McCoy gets it. Nava, great crossover there on Jenkins. In the corner, Francolini for three in transition. No good. Matt Grace tried to put it up, but it went right into the hands of Zach Daters, who's re-entered the game as well. Ishan Khan also on the floor for Lincoln Prep. Kevin Kangu with the ball. Shot out to Sims. And that's one thing that they can continuously look to. Tafari Sims is one of the best mid-range games in the OSBA. Time and again, those elbow shots are his hot zone. Here's Nava. He's going to take it himself. No good. Matt Grace tries to go for it. And it's going to be Lincoln Prep ball, last touched by Matt Grace, who's lucky he didn't necessarily get called for an over the back there. But of course, referee says play on. 52-44, 1:45 to go here in the third. Kevin Kangu. Nice find to Sims. And Sims, you give him that much space to work with, he's going to finish at the rim. Showing off that length. Lewis over to Nava. Here's Grace, thought about it. puts the ball on the floor, gets it over to Don McCoy. Nice find inside, and McCoy, once again, just showing how physical he can get. And Adong McCoy is making himself the MVP of this third quarter for TRC Academy. Sims, mid-range jumper. No good. I don't think he got a clean release off that one there. Adong McCoy sticking with him. Here's Nava. Fast break, tries to lob it up to McCoy, and McCoy can't get it. And call that one a heat check if you've ever seen one. Lincoln Prep have an opportunity here. But there's the turnover. Nava's got it. He's surrounded by purple shirts. Going to take it himself? No, he wants to slow it down. He wants to think about it. Tries to go back up again by himself. No good. Ishan Khan comes down with the rebound. Over to Kangu. 32 seconds. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Cullen Welsford knocks it down. Knocks down the triple in the corner there. Look out if he gets hot. 22 seconds. Only a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock here in the third quarter. Here's Nava. Corner, Francolini, back to Nava. He's looking to get trapped here, but here's Grace. Kick it back out, Lewis. No good, rims out. 1 second remaining, Brandon Safari Sims tried to go and do it himself, no good. The defense was all over him, couldn't get the shot off. But Lincoln Prep, after being down by 10 twice, have managed to claw their way back to within 5, and they've got an opportunity to steal one here tonight in the final quarter. So with that being said, we're going to take a brief break before we begin this fourth quarter. It is TRC Wolfpack 54, Lincoln Prep Huskies 49 here at TRC Senior Night. We'll be right back here on OSBA TV. I'd like to welcome everybody back after our brief break here on OSBA TV. My name is Ryan Greco, taking care of your commentary as we begin the fourth and final quarter of this game here on TRC Wolfpack Senior Nights. Lincoln Prep Huskies trying to spoil the party here, only down by 5, but they're not going to do it that way. It's fast break, Francolini at the rim, foul, and one. And just like that, the Wolfpack have an opportunity to make this an 8-point lead once more. And that's really been the recurring story since about the second quarter. This Wolfpack team, every single time, it looks like Lincoln Prep might be able to catch up and take the lead. TRC has been able to pull away with a quick 5 or 6 point spurt that puts them up by double digits. Francolini, he's good. And it's an 8-point lead once again. Not even 15 seconds into the fourth quarter. Here's Noten. Noten. Corner. Tried to get it to Welsford. And that was Steve Levniak there that had the steal, or the attempted steal at least. Here's Jenkins, guarded by Francolini. Jenkins. Nice find inside to Sims. And Sims goes to the basket. Not necessarily a bad strategy at this point. If you can get to Fari Sims, who's really the only guy on this Lincoln Prep team that can kind of match the physicality of Alil Nosemi and Adong McCoy down in the paint. If you can get him consistently working off that pick and roll and going to the basket, he might be able to at least knock one of these big men out of this game due to foul trouble. But that's a tall order. Both McCoy and Nosemi are very disciplined defenders. It's a big reason why Nosemi is going to be playing some pretty high-profile college basketball next season. And this is his final home game for the TRC Wolfpack. Here's Vernon. Trying to work off a screen from Nosemi. Kicks it out to Francolini. He's going to let it fly. Francolini in rhythm, no good. Another long rebound. Nosemi gets it back, tries to body his way to the basket, but Levniak is right there for the other rebound. And unfortunately, that is the downfall when you're facing a team that is so physical under the basket. Everyone starts trying to come in and help, trying to go for the block or the rebound. And what happens is nobody ends up boxing out any other of the teammates. And in that situation there, Levniak, right time, right place, ball falls right into his hands. And the defense has no choice but to foul him. We said this was going to be an interesting test of matchups for both teams, and it's proven that so far. It's been an incredibly close game. The biggest lead has only been 11 points by TRC. But Lincoln in the early going, they had a few leads of their own. They've shown they can play with this team. Nice crossover there by Jenkins. Jenkins, though, hesitates. And Rosebush tried to go to the basket there, but Nosemi's just too strong. Was able to easily reach over and swat that one away. Impressive defensive display there by the Bearcat commit. Here's Vernon. He's going to try and go. Finds Nosemi on the inside, tries to slam it home, no good. And Rosebush, he's going to come down with the rebound. Knowlton. Can Lincoln take advantage now? Tries to kick it out, but there's going to be a foul. Is there a foul? Yes, there is. It's going to be Lincoln Prep ball. I don't know exactly who the foul is on, but if it's on Nosemi, that can't be good for Lincoln Prep. We'll see if they can continue this pick and roll game they had going when Tafari Sims was on the floor, but expect them to take some shots now. Bogovic, Welsford for three, knocks it down. Do not leave that kid open. He's now 2 for 3 from behind the arc. 59-54. Just a 5-point lead for TRC Academy. Both of these teams can score in buckets. And Vernon nearly turning around his defender off the screen, but didn't commit to the drive. Here's Francolini, he's gonna let it fly again. Nothing but net there. That is a big shot for TRC Academy, brings them back up by 8. Adam Francolini having himself a day behind the arc. Josh Knowlton now. He's getting guarded by Vernon. Looking for the screen off Bogovic. Takes it, kicks it back out. Bogovic, he's gonna let it fly. He has not had a very good shooting night, but he's still fearless when he's taking those shots. Alil Nosemi was flying right at him. Here's Levniak, corner. Nice dribble penetration over to Nosemi. What a fine foul, and one. That is some excellent basketball. And Alil Nosemi, he's showing it off. He's flexing. He's excited. TRC Academy put themselves back up by 10 and have an opportunity to match their biggest lead of the night with 7:33 to go here in the fourth. Once again, Nosemi, no good. And there's the steal by Jenkins. But a tip by Francolini. Levniak behind the back. Nice pass, dribble, up, and tries to do it himself between 3 defenders. And Levniak right away saying, that's my fault. Got a little bit too trigger happy there. He had 2 wide open teammates. He had Francolini in the corner ready for the 3. And I believe he had Adong McCoy right next to him for a quick pass off as Kevin Kangu comes back into the game for Josh Knowlton. Zach Daters, Adnan Bogovic, Kevin Kangu, Colin Welsford, and Sam Jenkins are all on the floor right now for the Lincoln Prep Huskies. TRC Academy, Steve Levniak, Alil Nosemi, Adong McCoy, Adam Francolini, and Antoine Vernon are on the floor for the TRC Wolfpack. Here's Daters. Inbound pass to Kangu, who's feeling a little bit of pressure from Levniak. Kangu looking for something here. No one's cutting yet. Nice turnaround way. Tries to do it himself. Timely rebound, though. Great finish under the basket for Bogovic. And that's what you got to do sometimes. If the first plan isn't working, you just got to keep working. Got to keep working physically until those opportunities come. Here's Francolini in the corner. One more time. No good. But McCoy with the long rebound. And it's going to be an offensive foul by McCoy as he hooked himself around Bogovic trying to get to the basket. And that is illegal. You cannot do that. Still a 10-point lead, though. Lincoln Prep needs to start putting some points up here. It may be plenty of time left right now. And there's another steal by Levniak, but he's getting, and another steal right back by Jenkins. He's going to go up and in himself. Finish it. Nothing fancy, nice and safe. 8-point lead for TRC Academy, but Lincoln Prep just does not want to go away. Francolini into Nosemi, who throws it down, and Lincoln Prep got caught on the half-court press there. Sam Jenkins over to Kangu. Kangu looking for an option. Jenkins, Welsford, he's going to let it fly one more time and knocks it down. 3 of 4 from behind the arc. And anytime they've needed a big three, he's been the one to step up for them, not just in this game, but through a lot of the season here for Lincoln Prep. That is Cullen Welsford. Francolini to Vernon. Vernon, Euro step inside. McCoy dunks it down. And Lincoln Prep, they keep gambling and they keep losing on the defensive end. Jenkins trying to do it himself, and it's going to be Lincoln Prep ball. Looking for the inbound now. This is Jenkins. Over to Daters. Daters. Kangu. Kangu with the ball. Daters coming up for the screen. Kicks it over to Jenkins. Nice quick pass back inside. Kangu. Jenkins one more time for 3. Rims out. Tough shot there. Lincoln Prep. Here's Francolini. Vernon. Francolini, corner, Levniak for 3. No good. Great box out by Bogovic on McCoy. And that's huge for Lincoln Prep. 5 minutes, 9-point deficit. 3-possession game here for the TRC Academy Wolfpack, trying to close out this game on senior night in front of friends and family alike. And Adam Francolini is going to get called with the foul as his chest made contact with the shooting arm of Kevin Kangu and went up to block that shot. That's an easy call for the referee. TRC Academy, if they come away with the win in this game, that moves them to 12-2 on the season, which allows them to keep pace. They'll temporarily have, I believe, the second place position in the OSBA standings. But at the very least, it allows them to keep pace with Bill Crothers, AI Prep, and Orangeville Prep, who are all in front of them in the standings. Meanwhile, Lincoln Prep, if they manage to come back and win this one, they're going to move to 8-9 in the season and 1 game behind Ridley College for 5th in the OSBAs. And once again, Lincoln Prep, they are not a tough win by any stretch of the imagination. They've had some big wins this season, and they've had some tough losses. When you see the talent on the floor here, especially for Lincoln Prep, it really doesn't do it justice when you look at their record. I mean, they've got some incredibly talented players, but like a lot of teams in the bottom half of the OSBA, size continuously tends to be an issue for these teams when they're going up against lineups like TRC Academies, when you've got 2 legitimate 6'10 guys sitting under the basket. And they've got athleticism the way that both Brandon John, Lil Nosemi, Adong McCoy, even a guy like Dion Edgem at 6'5", 220 pounds, working on the wing. That is a tough guard to deal with. But Lincoln Prep, as I said before, they've been a tough out every single time they've went up against a team like TRC Academy or AI Prep or Orangeville Prep. And a lot of that has to do with just how deadly their shooters are and just how athletic their backcourt is. As Kevin Kangu makes the second, it's 70-62 now. And the half-court trap is in place here. Lincoln Prep is going to need to be playing a lot of this. Trying to force a turnover here. But will fatigue play a factor with 4:30 to go in this game? Great effort. Just rims out. And once again, Adnan Bogovic playing above his height and weight able to knock that ball loose from Elil Nosemi when he was trying to get some space on the inside. It looked like he had the angle on Begovic, but Begovic was able to just knock it loose. And then, of course, that scramble under the basket ensued. And it's going to be a Lincoln Prep ball, though. And these free throws are critical for Lincoln Prep. 4:21 to go, 8-point lead. They're giving you free points at the basket. Begovic would be doing himself some huge favors if he can knock this one down. Knocks down the first. 7-point game. And Begovic is a senior himself, actually, coming right out of Mississauga, Ontario as well. Knocks down the second. 70-64. And Begovic comes out and into the game here for Lincoln Prep is number 2, Tyson Cato. We've been seeing him occasionally here in this game. See if he can make a difference. Levniak right by all the defenders. Easy layup. And that was just too easy for TRC Academy. Kangu over to Jenkins. Jenkins now working off the screen from Sims. Gets it on the inside. Tafari Sims up. No good. Levniak, big rebound for TRC Academy. And Lincoln Prep can only have so many more of those trips up the floor before they run out of time. Adam Francolini to Levniak, to Vernon, back to Francolini. Can he dagger it? No good. Kangu, rebound. Here's Kangu. Jenkins, absolutely rejected there by Elil Nosemi. Levniak, no good. Brandon John tries to get the board. Cato gets it back. Kangu covered by Francolini. Lincoln Prep, another opportunity. Norton back to Kangu. Kangu now surveying the option. Here's Jenkins. Jenkins to Kangu. Tafari Sims, mid-range jumper, count it. Feed the big man at this point. If you've got Tafari Sims getting that kind of space in the mid-range, it would do Lincoln Prep well to keep finding him. Here's Francolini. Nice steal there by Kangu. Tafari Sims with it, looking up, pushing the basketball. Here's Noten. Noten's going to try and do it himself. He gets hit. No good, but Cato with the rebound, kicks it out to Jenkins. Jenkins, dribble, shoot. No good. Cato with the rebound. Cato blocked by Nosemi one more time. And Nosemi with 2 huge blocks for TRC Academy keep this a 6-point game. Into Brandon John, foul, and 1. And that's got to be a tough one to swallow if you're a Lincoln Prep fan. Lincoln Prep giving themselves chance after chance with some great defensive efforts there on the other end, but just couldn't convert them into points. And because of that, with 2:25 remaining, TRC Academy holding on to an 8-point lead here, as there's going to be a timeout. And with that, we are going to take a timeout ourselves for a brief moment. We'll be right back. OSBA TV, TRC Academy Wolfpack 74, Lincoln Prep Huskies 66. Welcome back, OSBA TV. My name is Ryan Greco, taking care of your commentary today. And what a game we've had so far here at TRC Academy as the Wolfpack are trying to put away the Lincoln Prep Huskies. They have an 8-point lead, 2:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Brandon John is at the line. He was fouled earlier under the basket on an and one shot, and makes good on the three-point play. And once again, a 9-point lead. And coming onto the floor for Brandon John is going to be Matt Grace. Dion Edgem back into the game as well for Adam Francolini. Here's Colin Welsford. Kangu. Welsford lets it fly. Tough shot though. Vernon right in his face on that one. Great defense by Vernon, and that's what you have to do. Close out the shooters. If they're going to shoot it, they're going to shoot it with a hand in their face. Here's Grace now for three. Knocks it down. And is that not his sweet spot at the top of the key there, hitting that big three? Give him 2 for 2 from that area on the floor so far this game. Noten, Kangu, 12-point lead now. Biggest lead of the game for TRC Academy with 1:48 to go. Kangu can't make it, and Vernon has it. And time is running out on the Lincoln Prep right now. Grace puts it on the floor in the corner. Levniak gets by his defender, up and in. And that's something we've seen a lot in the second half. Great finishes by Levniak. Noten trying to look around. Kicks it out to Jenkins. Jenkins inside to Sims. Sims to Noten. Somehow manages to go up there and get it. Takes the shot. No good. Rims out. Vernon with the rebound. 1:12 to go, and that might do it, ladies and gentlemen. 14-point lead here with just over a minute. Really all TRC has to do at this point is just hold on to the basketball, and their senior night would have been a success. Antoine Vernon tries to get it into Matt Grace. Turnover. 55 seconds remaining in this game. Kangu is going to inbound it to Noten, and you can expect that there's going to be a timeout. Timeout for Lincoln Prep, and with that, we're going to take a timeout ourselves. We'll be right back. OSBA TV. Here we go. Back here on OSBA TV, Lincoln Prep. TRC Academy. The Wolfpack, TRC Academy Wolfpack up 80-66 here. 55 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And barring a miraculous comeback for the ages, this one's pretty much going to be a game for TRC. Kevin Kangu makes good on that layup. Give him 68 now, 80-68. Half-court trap in effect. Vernon, though, gets by his defender, up, in, no good on the layup. Noten gets it. Here's Jenkins. Jenkins up, in, rims in. 10-point game, 36 seconds. Dion Edgem, corner out to Vernon. Passes it over to Nasemi. Nasemi to Grace. Grace, he's going to hold on to it. Don't expect a shot to come from Levniak here to Grace. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Try to rolls it under. It's going to be a kick ball out of bounds. Lincoln Prep ball with 15 seconds remaining. Shot clock is now off. And the TRC Wolfpack, both the girls and boys team, pulling out the win here as Jenkins tries to let one go. 8 seconds remaining. Going to be a foul on Welsford on Levniak. 8.2 seconds remaining in this game. And with that, TRC Academy is keeping pace with the class of the OSBA at the top of the standings. They're going to move to 12-2, while Lincoln Prep is going to fall to 7-10 on the regular season. A very disappointing game here for Lincoln Prep, who had multiple opportunities to get back in this one, but as Levniak misses the first free throw. Makes the second. Kangoo's going to bring up the ball. We're going to see if they're going to try and get one last shot here. I think they will. They are. No good. And that's going to be the game. Matt Grace with the rebound. And that is your final, ladies and gentlemen. TRC Academy defend home court, and they take it 81-70 over the Lincoln Prep Huskies. A hard-fought battle, but once again, what more can you say than some timely shooting? And TRC Academy, the importance of learning and knowing how to shut out a game. They did just that today, defended home court. Every opportunity that Lincoln Prep had, just unable to completely